Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? We're tackling UAE credit cards today.
Always a hot topic. Everyone wants to know the secrets.
Right, so we're jumping into this Reddit thread, are UAE credit cards? It's wild.
It really is. You get everything in there, people bragging about their points, others asking for advice.
It's like a jungle of reward programs and cashback percentages, and frankly, I'm a little lost.
That's why we're here, to make sense of it all. And what's interesting is you see so many different approaches.
Totally. Like some people are obsessed with cashback, others are all about those air miles.
Exactly. Some folks are laser focused on specific perks, lounge access, dining discounts, you name it.
But it seems like for the average person, it's all about that cashback, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Everyone loves seeing those dirhams back in their account.
Speaking of cashback, this one user, Sadaragojo, claims they get 150 to 200 AED back every month. Like, what? How is that even possible?
Well, they say they're using a combo of Citibank, FAB Share, and a Mashreq card. And get this, they put big purchases on a 0% installment plan with the Mashreq.
Okay, that's kind of smart. Spreads out the cost.
Exactly, helps with the cash flow. But, and this is a big but, you've got to be careful with those minimum spend requirements.
There's always a catch.
There usually is. So it's not enough to just get a card with a high cashback percentage.
You actually have to use it enough to actually get that cash back.
Precisely. If you don't hit that minimum spend, you're not getting the advertised rewards.
That makes sense. And I'm guessing there are other things they're not telling us, like hidden fees or something?
Well, fees, not so much. But a lot of cards have these category caps, you know?
Those category caps? Like what?
Like, you might only earn cash back on, say, the first 2,000 dirhams you spend on groceries each month.
I see. So even if you spend a fortune at Carrefour, you're not getting cash back on all of it.
Exactly. So while Sadarajo might be earning a decent amount back, it's likely a combination of hitting those minimum spends and staying within those category limits.
Oh, it's like a game. You really got to know how to play it.
You could say that. But hey, that's why we're doing this deep dive, right? To uncover those insider strategies.
Okay, so it's not as easy as just picking a card with a high cashback percentage.
Not at all. You got to do your homework.
Speaking of homework, what about this ADCB Talabat card? 35% back on Talabat. That sounds amazing.
Sounds too good to be true, right?
There's got to be a catch.
Well, remember how we talked about those inflated prices on delivery platforms?
Oh yeah, right. Those sneaky markups.
A lot of restaurants, they raise prices on those apps to cover the commission they pay to Talabat and the like.
So you're not really getting 35% back on the actual price.
Exactly. It's more like 35% off a higher price, so the discount isn't as big as it seems.
Sneaky, sneaky. But wait, someone in the thread mentioned a workaround, using the ADCB Talabat card on Now for groceries.
Oh, that's clever. I haven't heard that one before.
Apparently you can avoid those crazy delivery markups that way.
That's thinking outside the box. It just goes to show you got to be creative with these reward programs.
You really do. All right, next up, we got to talk about Cold Positive 1844. This person is juggling 7 different cards.
7? Wow, that's commitment.
Right. They're like the ultimate credit card warrior.
I mean, more power to them if they can keep track of it all. I'd be lost.
Me too. I can barely handle 2. But they mentioned this Sav prepaid card. Apparently, you can get 650 dirhams back if you spend 15,000.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet deal, especially if it's a limited time thing.
Exactly. But then again, do you really want to be managing a whole separate prepaid card?
That's the thing, right? It's all about finding that balance between maximizing rewards and keeping things manageable.
Because sometimes it's just easier to have 1 or 2 cards that you know inside and out.
Absolutely. Okay, we've talked a lot about cashback, but what about miles?
Yes, the eternal debate, cashback versus miles.
It's a tough one. Like choosing between a delicious dessert now or saving room for breakfast tomorrow.
Okay, I like that analogy. We have one listener here who swears by their Etihad guest cards for miles, even though it takes longer to see the rewards.
I get that. There's something alluring about those travel rewards, you know?
Oh, for sure. But what about all the downsides? Like blackout dates and constantly changing mile values.
Yeah, those can be frustrating, for sure. And you got to be on top of those airline loyalty programs because they love to change the rules.
It's true. It's like they're playing a game with us. So is there a right answer? Miles or cashback?
Honestly, it depends. What are your goals? Do you travel a lot? Are you okay with waiting for those big travel rewards? Or do you prefer instant gratification with cashback?
It all comes back to knowing yourself and how you spend.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about this HSBC card that everyone's buzzing about.
Oh yeah, the one with the crazy cashback rates, like 15% on fuel.
That's the one. On the surface, it looks phenomenal, right? But as we've learned today, You always have to read the fine print.
You're speaking my language, so what's the catch this time?
Well, those incredible rates, they're usually introductory offers.
So they reel you in with a promise of amazing rewards.
And then after a few months, bam, the rates drop, and you're stuck with something much less impressive.
It's like they're trying to trick us.
I wouldn't say trick, but yeah, they definitely make it hard to decipher.
Okay, maybe not trick, but definitely a bit sneaky. So what can you do? Is it even worth getting these cards if the rates disappear after a few months?
Well, some people swear by this churn and burn strategy.
Churn and burn sounds kind of aggressive. Like, what even is that?
Basically, you sign up for a card, use it to get those big introductory rewards, and then cancel it before the rates drop or the annual fee hits.
So you're constantly opening and closing cards. That sounds like a lot of work.
It can be. And you have to be organized. Missing a payment or a deadline could really hurt your credit score.
So maybe not for everyone,
Yeah.
but good to be aware of it. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground today. Any final thoughts on the UAE credit card landscape? It's a bit overwhelming.
It really is. There are so many cards, so many offers, it changes all the time.
Exactly. So how do you even begin to navigate it all?
I'd say the most important thing is to remember, it's not one size fits all. The best card for me might not be the best card for you.
Right. We all have different spending habits, different financial goals.
Exactly. So figure out what you want from a credit card. Are you trying to rack up miles for a big trip? Do you need a card with a low interest rate for balance transfers?
Or maybe you just want some simple cash back on your everyday spending.
Right. Once you know what you want, then you can start looking at the different options and comparing. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Call the bank, read the fine print, make sure you understand the terms and conditions.
Yes. Don't just blindly sign up for a card because it sounds good.
And remember, it's okay to start small. You don't have to get 7 different cards like Cold Positive 1844 over there.
Okay.
Maybe start with one cashback card, get comfortable with it, and then explore other options later on.
That's really good advice. Start slow, do your research, and don't be afraid to experiment a little.
Exactly. It's all about making your spending work harder for you.
I love that. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the wild world of UAE credit cards. Hopefully you all feel a little more informed and a little less intimidated.
And hopefully a lot more rewarded.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Until next time, everyone, happy spending.